it's funny watching stuff like this happen. And I'm going to be fair to it. Of course, I don't think it just happens because of, in light of certain statements being made by these actors, goofballs. Usually they are told by the studios to shut their mouths on the promotional tours, but I guess that stuff is off the table nowadays, considering how a lot of everybody puts their politics and everything at the forefront, even at the worst time possible. And Chris Evans, certainly, he's a dipshit, number one, but, he certainly didn't mince for words as far as how he fed about fans who was like, maybe hyper-emphasizing a homosexual kiss in a movie such as this probably isn't the smartest thing to do. And he, of course, took exception to it. But according to the numbers and the data that's out there, Lightyear, Buzz Lightyear, that Lightyear movie where, again, I don't know if you guys know the backstory behind it. Certainly when I found about that, when they announced it was kind of goofy. It's the character that Buzz Lightyear is based off of. This is why Chris Evans is playing him. Well, I don't think that's why he's playing his voice. I think there's a reason why Alan's not playing his voice here, considering where he tends to align himself lately, publicly, politically. But they have the person that he's playing, or that toy is based off of. That's who this movie is based off of, this sort of astronaut or whatever. And it generates lackluster buzz at movie theater. It only brought in, it says first film from Disney-owned studio in theaters in more than 2 years, earns only $51 million domestically in its opening weekend. It says fewer families than expected went this weekend to see Lightyear, underscoring the challenge of winning big audiences in summer crowded with movie blockbusters. No, it's just that if people aren't genuinely interested in it, they're just not going to see it. I mean, it's not the alignment, I don't think, has much to do with it of, it came out in the summer and there's other blockbuster movies coming out. Hell, I don't even know what other movie came out this past weekend. It's just people weren't interested in it. The movie, which depicts the origin of Buzz Lightyear, the Toy Space Ranger from the Toy Story movies, is the first Pixar film to be shown in theaters in more than 2 years. Lightyear cost about $200 million to produce. Boy, they got a long way to go. That shit cost $200 million? That's a lot of money. Way more than what I expected that would come from like such an animation like that. Like that costs $200 million to make. There got to be some people getting overpaid, man, in between, because they ain't getting that. They might get it back. But if they get it back, it's going to be barely, because, to only open with 51 million, they might lose money, y'all. Like, this legit may be a situation where they lost money. Damn, $200 million for animation? What? Lightyear's garnered some controversy as 14 countries in the Middle East and Asia have banned its theatrical release after Disney declined to remove depiction of a same-sex relationship, including a kiss between two married female characters. That part is probably the funniest part of it, considering that, this is coming from the side. Leftist ones, Hollywood, they're all pro-immigration as far as, welcome everybody. We're awesome. And this is just one of those examples to show people how culturally incompatible a lot of different countries are with Western ideals. And leftists don't like to acknowledge that. In fact, they utterly think they can just ignore it. But when you get to the business stuff and the nitty gritty, you really see that stuff show its face, and stuff like this, where you have various countries in the Middle East and Asia, which are far less progressive as America and the rest of the West. And they say, yeah, you got gay folk kissing in your movie. We're not interested. We're not airing it. Therefore, you're not going to be making money. So Disney, however, it's not unusual for them they usually try to put stuff in those movies that's easily removable. They've done this with Star Wars. They've done this with various other shows, stuff that they know is going to offend a certain pocket of the audience there, and not allow it to be released, or it's going to be poorly received in those areas, and they'll pull those out for those releases in that area. Where as to now, Pixar was one of the big little sub studios of Disney's that were doing all of that signaling about the gay stuff and wanted to take all this political stances and all that publicly, and that got them in trouble because, as Bob Chapek in his little hostage video or whatever you want to call it, they're so committed to this that they can't turn around. This is why I said, dog, hold on to your butts. This idea that Disney can't fail, idea that just because it's a mega corporation, it can't lose money or it can't head down to the tank. Hold on to your butts, because if they keep on down this trajectory, especially if they can't depend on international money, they're going to be in trouble, and they're going to have to trim a lot of fat in that regard. But as you see here, it didn't air there, so that's not going to help them in terms of their box office and whatnot, because they had to keep this stuff in because they acted like they were so committed to this community. And obviously now you're in the point to where if you do pull it, they're going to say something. And that was something that you stepped in, and all of y'all over at Disney get exactly what you certainly deserved. So Buzz Lightyear looks like it will, it says the week showing by Lightyear comes after a strong start to summer movie season, which delivered 300 million plus openings in 6 weeks. Lightyear wasn't one of them. Let's just say that I don't know if this deal is going to make money. I'd have to do the math. I got to get my man's Olton to take a look at that. But if it only made 51, I know that's domestic, okay? So we'll see. And it also says in comparison, Toy Story 4 came out June 2019, and it earned $121 million domestically. And then went on to gross more than $1 billion worldwide. So to put that into perspective, less than well, depending on what way, less or more than half, depending on what way, because remember, it only got 51. This movie only got 51. So in comparison to Toy Story 4, it performed less than half in terms of how worse that it's been. This shit that's not good. They might lose money. They might legit lose money on this movie. I don't know where the $200 million was dispersed because according to, again, this is coming from the Wall Street Journal, so they have, of course, the inside scoop on that. It cost about $200 million to produce this movie. That is a lot of money. I'm guessing it had to have been Chris Evans and his voice. They overpaid for that. Again, you have to. This is funny because the industry has not caught up. The film industry has not caught up to where we're kind of at domestically with this type of stuff. The age of the superstar, for the most part, is gone. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, and they did themselves in, the mystique of Hollywood is gone. So gone are the days where, okay, here is this character or this person, and they in itself, even if you don't understand the concept of the movie, they could sell it. I think those days are well beyond us. There may be one or two people that can do that, but I think most people don't give a shit. To be honest, okay, so-and-so's in the movie. Congratulations. That's just not a thing. As much as it was anymore, the mystique of Hollywood is gone because of social media, and these guys continue to tell on themselves, and that's what it is. So they probably overpaid. All of these heifers and dudes out there in Hollywood are probably getting overpaid anyway, and it's not in terms of the return that they get. Sometimes it's worth it, but we may be moving into an age where even attached, you got this supposedly big name actor who's a dipshit, big name actor, and an IP that is one of the bigger IPs that has ever existed, and you couldn't do jack. 51 million was all you could do, and you might make your money back. You may, but it ain't gonna be my much if you do. And because it's gonna only get worse now, because it's not like they're getting any raving reviews on it. That would be the only way that they could see, let's say, more of an upward trajectory, which you've seen. You see every now and then where the first week does okay, and then the second week, instead of having that large, after the first week, everything's usually gonna drop. Just how far is it going to drop? Is it going to drop up at 90, 95% or something crazy like that? Or is it going to drop more closer to 50 or something? It just depends. And usually those reviews and all that stuff will have people more incentivized to go watch it. I don't think we're dealing with that right now. The reviews don't seem to be that well. And so it's not like, so imagine that, a huge drop off from only the 51 that you made. they're not. I don't know if they're going to make their money back. I don't think they're going to make their money back, and that's what they deserve. So good luck, Hollywood. Good luck, Disney. Good luck, Chris Evans. You just listened to a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake, which is live throughout the week at 12 p.m. Central on youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. Be sure to check out my website, ericdjuly.com, so you can stay up to date with everything it is that I'm doing. You can also become a member and get access to a bunch of cool perks and exclusive content, which includes a social media hub where you can interact with myself and other members. It even has an app that you can get, which is now live in the Google and Apple stores.